Welcome to another episode of the Cherrypicker Podcast. I'm your host, CJ Tefano. We have another exciting episode for all you today. This time, we're sitting down with Allison Lu, Director of Talent at Pereira O'Dell and Silverside. They're an independent creative ad agency based in New York and San Francisco. I hope you're all excited to learn more about what it's like to work there as much as I am. Welcome, Allison. How are you today?
Awesome. Thanks for having me, CJ. Doing good. How are you?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Really excited to learn about you guys and what it's like to work there and your culture and to share with our audience. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little about your role at Pereira O'Dell and Silverside.
Yeah. So I am the director of talent and head of recruiting at Pereira O'Dell and Silverside. My background's kind of interesting. I actually started out in advertising on the creative side. I was a copywriter for many years and then decided to pivot into recruiting and make the switch. But I never looked back. I've been doing recruiting for about 12 or 15 years now. I've lost
No.
count. Um, but essentially, in my role right now, I am working behind the scenes, partnering closely with our leadership and hiring managers to understand their staffing needs across all of our disciplines, both within Pereira Dell, our creative ad agency, and Silverside AI, which is our new, essentially, kind of sister agency.
Oh, wow.
The innovation lab started by our founders from Pereira Dell, but both companies are growing rapidly, and we're looking at hiring across all different disciplines within the creative space and business side. So, my job is really just making sure we're hiring great talent and that we have people to do work that really elevates our teams.
Awesome. So now that you're feeling like the startup pain, and you're also obviously a legacy ad agency, I'm sure you have a lot of hiring challenges finding technical talent, business talent, creative talent. So sounds like you have your hands full. So I'm really excited to learn, the breakdown of what you typically look for. Are you focused more on tech talent these days, or are you focused more on on creative, or a little bit of both? Tell us a little bit about how the priorities are changing now that you were launched Silverside.
It's really interesting. So, traditionally within Peridel, we have some more of what you might think of as like traditional advertising roles, hiring brand strategists, brand managers, creative directors. But with Silverside, it really is fun because the roles are kind of changing and we're able to look at really nuanced skill sets and almost define the roles as we're looking at talent. Just because, of course, the technology is so new and it's rapidly changing and evolving. So we're just looking for talent of people that are collaborative, experimental, people that are, you know, open to wearing multiple hats and are curious and obviously have certain skill sets, of course, but we have roles like AI artists, AI developers, creative technologists, certainly some more on the technical side, i.e. like our developers, things like that. But we've just had a role where we hired some generators. I think that's a
Mm.
new title.
Prompt
um,
generators, like AI prompt generators.
Exactly, yeah,
Yeah,
like
AI
they're
engineers.
prompting.
Mm.
There you go, yeah, so we're kinda coming up with new titles, but it's what fits our needs and what we're seeing out in the market too.
For sure. I mean, listen, everything's evolving as we speak. I mean, our jobs are changing, even in the recruiting industry, as you could imagine. There's tools. You have to get a little creative and to get people's attention. There's so much hyper personalization going on with AI tools, and you kind of get lost in the sauce sometimes. It's very fragmented. But would love to learn more about your hiring strategies and how like that's affecting now this new path with the technology side of the business, and obviously your legacy, creative ad agency. So talk to us a little about hiring strategies specifically in the creative industry, and then we could talk about the tech side on what you're currently focused on right now, and how you're currently going about it.
Yeah, I think with Pereira, we're looking for people, again, across different disciplines, and, I mean, real work and portfolios are things that really help sell in a lot of the talent. So, if you've done a Super Bowl spot, if you've got awards and campaigns that we can tangibly see out in the world, that really helps. It's not just a resume anymore. So, a lot of times it really is being able to showcase what you've done or having case studies. Maybe if it's work that isn't out in the world, maybe you're able to come in and do a presentation about your skill set. Um, For Silverside, I think obviously that's a little bit different. We're kind of, again, moving and defining these roles as we're coming into them. They're a bit more fluid and conversation driven. So it's about learning how somebody thinks, how they problem solve, how they're willing to collaborate with our teams.
Awesome. So I guess talk to us a little bit about the hiring process and what makes it unique compared to other creative ad agencies.
Yeah. I mean, we're looking at all different types of places. I think in the past, it's easy just to look at competitive agencies similar to size and capability is what we do. So that was easy to find talent there, but that's not the case anymore. We have to look well beyond that. And what's great is we're not just looking within our cities, we're looking globally, right?
Oh.
So we're able to look across different creative industries, entertainment, gaming, um, a lot of exciting, finding a lot of exciting talent that work in other industries, not just advertising, which is
Mhm.
fun. Podcasting,
Really?
um, publishing other places, depending on what the role might be. So, really expanding beyond just what I would consider advertising
Hmm.
to find specific talent. And then again, looking beyond certain geographic locations. So, it's really opened up the pool of talent that we can consider. So, that's one strategy. And I think also just moving away from the portfolios, like I mentioned, being able to kind of assess people beyond just the work and seeing how they can collaborate with our teams, and the way we speak with them in interviews, having conversations. And again, it's not just about checking a box, it's really about that chemistry with our team.
For sure. So now you touched upon the qualities that you look for. I mean, it sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, are you guys shifting more towards a remote organization or are you hybrid at this point? I know you mentioned we have offices in New York and San Francisco, and you're hiring global talent. Do you have global offices or is this going to be a remote work environment for the most part if you're
Yeah, great
overseas?
question. Great question. We have office locations in New York and San Francisco, and Silverside just opened up a location in London. So we
Oh,
are
wow.
expanding globally and we're hybrid. So we do have people in all of those office locations working in person in the office. And then we have people who work fully remotely in other places around the globe. Yeah, we have people in the US, Canada, South America, Europe, and we even have one person in Australia, which is kind of crazy to think about the time difference, but we make it work.
Awesome. So I guess managing that, hybrid workforce, some in the office and some remote. Talk to us a little about the company culture at Pereira O'Dell and Silverside. I guess are they sitting in the same office or are they separately or how does it work now?
Yeah. Right now, they do share an office space because Silverside is still size wise kind of a startup,
Hmm.
right at around 35 full-time employees, but growing quickly. So currently share the same offices. I don't know for how much longer. But as far as culture goes, I think they're somewhat similar, but also somewhat different. So I would describe, as far as culture goes, I think Prairie Dell is very rooted in storytelling and craft. Um, a strong respect for big ideas, coming up with creatively led branded storytelling. It's a collaborative place. We're looking for people who take a sense of pride in the work that they do. Silverside is a little different, but in a good way. It's faster, more experimental. Obviously, that's shaped by the emerging technology. It almost operates a little bit like a production studio.
Hmm,
Things are constantly evolving, people wearing multiple hats. Um, it's more on a project basis right now. So I think things are a little bit more, again, in that experimental phase as they grow and continue to scale.
that's awesome. Yeah, I actually used to audit when I was in public accounting. I was a failed accountant in my past life, and I used to audit some ad agencies, and I always admired the culture and how much fun it was to go there every day. And that was one of my favorite audit clients. I'm not going to say their name because I don't know if they're still in business. I got to look them up. It's been a while. I mean, I started recruiting while I was doing accounting back in 2009, but it's always amazing to see like the excitement when you're building something creative and seeing it come to life and collaborating with teams and like everybody has ideas to share. And I've been part of that creative process. We wrote promotional content for videos in a production setting at locations. So for Cherrypicker, actually, been back in the beginning of when we first started. But that's always been a fun experience. That's really cool. So if you're a prospective candidate looking at Pereira O'Dell and Silverside, like what is like one thing that you wish that more candidates understood more about applying to your specific firm, obviously, compared to other creative agencies? What's something that you could tell them that's unique, or what makes it such a great place to work?
Ooh, good questions. One thing I tend to tell candidates, I think oftentimes things are always changing and evolving with advertising across the board, as compared to other industries. I remember having, especially graduates, like students who are still in school, they might email me in December of their senior year and they're like, I'm graduating in May. Do you have any open positions? I'm like, email me in May. I have no idea what's going to be open a month from now, let alone 6 months from now.
Hmm.
And that's just an indicator of how quickly things shift and change in our business. Um, and I think that's something important to remember when candidates are applying is that things change all the time. And a lot of times I tell candidates that if you get a rejection or a no from us, a lot of times it's not a forever no. Like maybe we're not hiring right now, or this position was available and now it's not available. And it's not always an indicator of you, the candidate, or your qualifications, or if you're right for this position.
Hmm.
There's so much going on behind the scenes of the business. And I think oftentimes people forget that and they take it as a reflection of themselves. And I'm like, there's so many shifts happening, and so oftentimes we'll have a project and then a client puts it on pause for a little while or shifts their marketing dollars around, which then in turn we have to shift things around internally. So just remember, even if it's a no right now, it might not be a no forever. I've called candidates back that I had to say no to in a couple months' time. And I'm like, actually, are you available now? We have something for you. So
Yeah.
in our industry specifically, things change all the time. So just stay positive. I think that's a good thing for any company, especially in this kind of creative space, that things always shift. So I think that's something I wish candidates understood a bit more. And I think for our company specifically, why it's fun to work for Pereira O'Dell and Silverside, just that entrepreneurial feel.
Hmm.
I definitely get that. We're an independent agency, which right now, I don't know if a lot of people know going on in advertising, there are a lot of mergers and acquisitions happening, especially with these big parent companies. And it's a good time to be an independent.
Sometimes you get lost in the sauce, right? Some large places, you feel like you're a small fish in a big pond. It's very easy to feel that way. So I definitely can understand where you're coming from with like rejections. And I think a lot of candidates that we speak to sometimes are upset with the candidate experience with some place that's
Mm,
really forward thinking and staying in touch with these candidates and having re-engagement campaigns to let them know you're thinking of them. And it's I think it's really great to keep the door open, because a lot of
yeah.
people think that once you get this rejection letter, it's like you're done forever. And a lot of people just kind of write you off, but or
Mhm.
they get like kind of sad and and their feelings hurt because it's very sensitive nowadays, right? So you got to be like
Yeah.
very careful what you say. But that's really great. Well, listen, I really appreciate you coming on here and talking about Pereira O'Dell and Silverside. Sounds like a really exciting place to work. Sounds like a really fun place to work. If I wasn't doing this, it sounds like I'd love to do that. But yeah,
We'll
hope
keep you in mind.
please keep me in mind. I'll be on the short list. But thank you everybody for tuning in, and Allison, thanks for joining us. For those who want to learn more about Pereira O'Dell, you can head over to their website. Obviously, they'll be on our platform hiring great talent. So happy to give more insights about them and share more information on our social channels on LinkedIn and at Get Cherrypicker on all social media platforms. But thanks again for joining us, and that's another episode of the Cherrypicker Podcast. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.